I first encountered Judith Nelson in, I believe it was May of 2002. I signed up to this dating site and I came across a profile that mentioned chamber music and classical music.
I was just getting ready to go away on tour, so we met once.
And then she went away, she left, went out of my life to work.
And he had said that he would email me while I was on tour.
How are you going to write somebody that you really like? You can't say all this really serious stuff. So I'd write to her in Doggerel, like really bad rhymes and verses and things. And
to come home every night from my concert and find an email, a funny email with you know, these poems and comments and so on, was just great. It was a real pick-me-up.
That pasta tube goes just great.
So I wrote her a lot of that stuff, trying to
the best way to listen to the
see if she'd laugh and maybe answer back. And she answered back. And oh, she writes very bad poetry too, you know, which was great.
Once I got back from tour, I moved back into my apartment after a 9-month absence for this huge renovation. And the apartment was a complete disaster.
She came back, and we hadn't seen each other for a while. I met her at Avery Fisher Hall after a rehearsal.
And I finally asked him if he would come over and maybe help me with my apartment a little bit. He came in and...
It was an absolute disaster. And I saw this kind of look of fear in her eyes, and knowing that what she really wanted was a little bit of help.
So our dates for a while, for several, maybe a couple of months, where he would come over and we would cook dinner, then we would sand the paneling and paint, then we'd watch a movie.
She was grateful, I think, and she loved to see her apartment come together, and I was so grateful to have like really cheap dates, you know, that.
The longer I knew him, the more I enjoyed him. Started to see past his sanding abilities, which were, you know, of course, amazing.
We would try and work out and have our day together during the week.
You know, we finally decided that he should move in. But, you know, getting two people's books, music, all his paintings, you know, it's been challenging.
Judy's been a strong single woman all her life. You know, she's had relationships, but she never married.
He's been kind of interested in getting married for, I think, quite a while. I've been a little slower to, I've kind of been like, well, things are going fine. Why do we need to get married?
Me, on the other hand, I've got 5 sisters. I was married. I've been surrounded by women all my life, you know, and I kind of like that, living with somebody in that matrimonial state. I fit into it quite naturally.
Then when he moved in a year ago, it sort of came a little bit more to the fore.
She knew something was up because she could see this like bulging box in my sport coat, and so she knew something was up. We ordered dinner. Afterwards, I was trying to think of the words to use and said, "Here, you know, will you marry me?" And she said, "Yes, very much." And that was that.